The first thing a Roman soldier put on every single morning was his belt. Not the flashy stuff, not the sword or the shield, the belt. Because the belt is what held everything else in place. Without it, the breastplate hangs wrong, the sword has nowhere to attach, and the whole kit falls apart the moment you start moving. And Paul, writing to a church surrounded by Roman soldiers, chose that image deliberately. Stand therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth. The first piece of the armor of God is truth, and that is not an accident. We are living in what some are calling a post-truth era. In April 2026, you can build an AI that sounds like anyone, says anything, and looks completely real. Deepfakes are indistinguishable from footage. News platforms operate on engagement, which means outrage and fear pay better than accuracy. And the average person is consuming somewhere between 4 and 6 hours of this every day. The enemy doesn't have to convince you of a lie. He just has to confuse you about what's true. Because a confused soldier doesn't fight. A confused soldier freezes. This is not new. Go back to Genesis 3 and look at how the enemy operated in the very first conversation. He didn't come in with a frontal assault. He came in with a question. Did God actually say? His first move was always a question mark placed after a sentence that God spoke with a period. And that strategy has not changed in 6,000 years. It has just been industrialized. Here is why the belt of truth is the foundation of everything. Every other piece of armor depends on your ability to stand on what is actually real. The shield of faith only works if you know what you're believing. The helmet of salvation only protects your mind if you know what salvation actually means. The sword of the Spirit only cuts if you know how to use the word. Strip out truth, and the whole armor becomes decoration. But here is the grace in this piece of the armor, and this is the part that changes everything. Jesus didn't say, "I will show you the truth," or "I will point you toward the truth." He said, "I am the truth." John 14:6, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Which means when you fasten on the belt of truth, you are not just adopting a worldview or a set of correct facts. You are anchoring yourself to a person, a living, faithful, unshakable person who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. This means that the lies the enemy whispers, "You are not loved, you are not forgiven, you are not enough, your situation is hopeless," those lies are not answered with willpower. They are answered with a person. You don't argue yourself out of a lie. You replace it with truth. And the truth is Jesus, His finished work, His word, His unbreakable promises. Here's what putting on the belt of truth looks like practically this week. Identify the lie you have been believing most consistently. Not the lie you know is wrong and dismiss, the one that keeps coming back. The one that shows up at 3 in the morning and feels completely reasonable. Now find the specific scripture that directly contradicts it. Not a general Bible verse, the one that speaks to that exact lie. Write it on something you will see. Say it out loud when the lie returns. You are not speaking positive thoughts. You are wielding truth like a soldier putting on a belt, deliberately, daily, before the day begins. The enemy's greatest weapon against you is not your circumstances. It is what he can get you to believe about your circumstances. Fasten the belt. Start with what is true. Let everything else be built on that.